The Ant King Meruem versus the Deep Sea King. This is a very interesting matchup, as both of them wants to be kings of their respective worlds, and both are greenish looking monsters who looks down on characters they've encountered in their verse. In this video, we'll cover up what threat level the Ant King Meruem would be, and see if he could take on a very memorable character from the One Punch Man verse. But before, please do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. As always, only 2% of you are subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you continue to support me, as that would motivate me to better myself in making these matchup videos. Thank you. Meruem is the strongest character combat-wise in Hunter x Hunter so far. Literally a genius in every category you put him in, and that includes Nin, what he is a master at. His first showing of being an absolute beast is walking past Netero and Zeno before they can even react, after they were distracted for a split second. Same Zeno who after wasn't even paying attention to Shito, considering him a small fry who is at least supersonic due to him dodging bullets easily. He goes after to fight against Netero, literally one of the strongest characters in the series. And in chapter 292, it was specifically stated that Meruem can barely follow Netero's afterimage, and Meruem himself has said that Netero putting his hands together is the only move that far surpasses his speed, meaning only when using his Nin ability he is faster than Meruem. And due to Meruem's absurd durability, the outcome of that matchup would be determined by who endures the most. Speaking of durability, Pre-Rose Meruem's durability is off the charts, taking thousands of blows from Netero and described to only starting to give him a dull internal ache. One direct hit from that attack can create a large crater in the ground. He goes after to tank Netero's strongest move called Zero Hand, a move that Netero was sure it would finish him off. Little to his surprise, it fairly managed to do nothing but leave a few minor bruises and scratches. I would go ahead and say that Meruem's true strength lies in his durability. As you can see, Netero didn't lack speed, strength or power, but all of that didn't matter since Meruem's durability exceeds all of that. It's the only factor that really allowed him to win against Netero. Netero after uses the poor man's rose bomb against Meruem, literally a small budget atomic bomb that has a destructive radius of multiple city blocks. This was more than capable of finishing off Meruem. If it weren't for his royal guard giving him their energy in time, Meruem would have been dead. Meruem also holds monstrous raw strength. He massively scales above Yuppie, who with his rage blast is capable of destroying a large palace tower and creating a huge crater in the ground. But I would go ahead and say that his best strength feat is ripping off his own hand, as that shows his strength exceeds his durability, and not even the Zero Hand could do that. Alright, now we should talk about Meruem's speed. Despite both him and Pito being bested by Netero when it comes to speed, Meruem was still far impressive compared to Pito. As you can see, Meruem was still moving in slow motion even when Netero was activating his Nin ability, unlike Pito who was completely frozen, unable to do anything. So it's pretty evident and no one could argue that Pito is faster than Meruem. However, we have no idea of how much that could be. I found this calc that puts Pre-Rose Meruem in the range of Mach 7 to 8, as that would align with what I've always estimated, which is Meruem being roughly 2 times faster than Pito. If you guys want to see how fast Pito is, you should go ahead and check my Silva Fang vs Netero's video. I'm sure you'll like it. Now, post-Rose Meruem is an absolute beast. He got amped by absorbing, or to be precise, eating Poof and Yuppie's life force. This not only saved Meruem's life, but also boosted his stats immeasurably. He performed 2 feats that I would say are crazy for the Hunter x Hunter verse. One is just by merely testing his new powers, Meruem shapeshifted his hand to be capable of shooting an energy blast, this resulting into carving a hole in a plateau by merely just testing it out. The other feat is shooting his in at quote-unquote the speed of light, and blitzing both Knuckle and Melarion in the process before Poof and Yuppie could even perceive what's going on. But you would say this is a huge amp. To go from Mach 9 or 7 to the speed of light is absolutely crazy. Well, I would also agree on that. It's true that the N he unleashed traveled at the speed of light, but nothing was said about Meruem's movement speed. The only indication we have is Poof and Yuppie's late reaction. It should also be noted that both of them couldn't react to Killua's god speed. Doesn't mean Killua is moving at the speed of light. So in other words, there's absolutely nothing that indicates that Meruem is on the speed of light level. But still, he was amped severely regarding speed. Meruem was also shown to be capable of somehow reading his opponent's mind by reading their emotions. This would allow Meruem to understand what his opponent would want to do and build a counter-attack measurements against it, as Meruem's IQ in general is outstanding and second to none in the Hunter x Hunter world, as he would know what to do in any kind of situations, granted he could react or be relative to his adversary. I should also mention that Meruem obviously has access to every single nin ability, such as Zetsu and Rin, but I wouldn't be going over them since this is not a full Meruem depth video, and I'll go under the impression you guys do understand how that works. The Deep Sea King is a demon-level monster, claims to be the ruler of the sea, and wants to take over the surface world. First he took down a heavily injured Stinger, and then he goes to do the same thing with Lightning Max. He was shown being capable of appearing behind him even though he was blocks away from the hero. Lightning Max's kick was stated to be as fast as lightning in the Databook many times, and said to be taken literally. However, we know that the Deep Sea King didn't really dodge it, and took it head on. And in the process of soloing Lightning Max, the Deep Sea King was shown to be capable of easily destroying a building. However, this feat was also done by one of Hammerhead's henchmen, and Sonic stated that Puri Puri is easily above Hammerhead when it comes to strength. This with the fact that dehydrated Deep Sea King scales above Angel Rush Puri Puri, let alone hydrated Deep Sea King. Now, even in his dehydrated form, he suffered little to no damage against a class-ass hero and fairly defeated him. He goes after to fight Speed of Sound Sonic. Well, without a doubt, Sonic was fairly faster than him. However, without a sword, his punches didn't really do any damage, but the Deep Sea King in his hydrated form was shown to be relative to him, as him being in the rain boosted almost all of his stats immeasurably, and Sonic has stated that now he has more power and speed compared to his previous form. He goes after to carve a hole in the Hero Association shelter, which said to be capable of withstanding missiles and tank fire. The Deep Sea King also holds amazing durability, as we've seen him take on a barrage of hits from Puri Puri Prisoner and later exchanging blows with Genos himself. Genos before blasted him away with his incineration, but the Deep Sea King regenerated from it and it was like nothing happened. This is a very important ability alongside with monsters never showing signs of fatigue. He also holds other abilities such as spitting acid from his mouth alongside with him being capable of sensing and detecting his opponent locations. Alright, now I try to gather as much research as I can to crack this one up, and each time I end up with a feat that puts one above the other, such as Meruem's durability that was too strong, it required a nuke to bypass it, and the Deep Sea King's regenerating from Genos' punch, an attack of a scale we have never seen before in Hunter x Hunter. But let's first talk about their speed. Now Hunter x Hunter's speed is kinda tricky. You sometimes find statements like Netero becoming a beast due to his punch surpassing sound, alongside with Binolenov's special attack Jupiter that also moves at the speed of sound. And then, same time you see early characters like Kurapika shown being capable of catching 4 bullets using his chain with ease. Also Uvo catching one with his own teeth at point blank range. And then, the Phantom Troop relies on a car to chase off Kurapika. It's like Togashi is not really considering how fast bullets are, or maybe not consistent when it comes to speed. And based on all of that, you find crazy Hunter x Hunter calcs that are accepted, putting Pito's jump at Mach 105. Others disagrees and puts her on Mach 2000. At the same time, you find calcs that puts Netero at Mach 12. You see, the problem here is that these calcs don't really align with what the writer tried to suggest. If Pito is on massively hypersonic area and early gone being supersonic plus, that means that 46 years Netero without using his nin is still slower than early gone. Imagine that with me for a second. What we should go with is Netero without the usage of his nin ability is faster than sound, as the story suggests, and with him using his nin ability he would be in the hypersonic plus range. Now unlike Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man doesn't throw the level of speed casually, and some would say that Sonic should be sound speed since it's literally his name. This is easily debunked since Sonic still holds that name and proven to be much faster than that. The term sound of speed in Japanese rhymes well with Sonic's name, Onsakonu Soniku, and that's the only reason he still holds that title. When a character dodges a bullet in One Punch Man, he is in fact faster than sound, such as Iain easily dodging and slashing 4 bullets alongside with attacking his opponents all at the same time. And both Puri Puri and Genos scales way above Iain and by a great margin when it comes to speed, let alone Sonic, who hydrated Deep Sea King was relative to. So meaning, if we go by what the story suggests, the Deep Sea King should be faster than anyone in Hunter x Hunter. But if you start including calcs for both series, it would really get extremely extremely complicated and messy, and I wouldn't think it's concrete and accurate to throw in calcs that goes against what the story is trying to tell you. I'm not saying Netero is only as fast as Sound, as it was hinted that he kept training after that, but not to the point of being 100 times faster than that. Unlike One Punch Man, where you find fodder characters that moves way faster than Sound, and by this we can safely put the Deep Sea King above Meruem. Now, when it comes to raw strength, other than Meruem ripping off his own hand alongside with slapping his royal guard, he has absolutely no feat that puts him remotely close to what the Deep Sea King has to offer, let alone hydrated Deep Sea King. As I said before, even dehydrated Deep Sea King's strength scales above Puri Puri Prisoner, who Sonic has stated he easily outclasses Hammerhead, and Hammerhead was shown to be capable of easily throwing large boulders miles away in the sky alongside with easily destroying big buildings. I might also add that Meruem could have superior raw strength. However, the problem is we have no way of knowing how strong he is, other than obviously scaling him above UP's blast rage attacks, which is still not comparable to the Deep Sea King's casual strikes. Now, to the most important question, can the Deep Sea King bypass Meruem's durability? Granted, the only thing that could've is the poor man's Rose Bomb. We already know that after thousands of blows from Netero, Meruem started to feel a bit of pain, and the zero hand attack managed to slightly damage Meruem. Okay, let's say Netero's hand strength is on par with UP's rage attacks, which is vastly overestimating it. It would still be remarkably weak compared to one of Hammerhead's henchmen who with zero effort destroyed a big building that is many times weaker than Puri Puri, who the Deep Sea King scales above. The Deep Sea King should be fast enough to replicate the same thing Netero has done, only that this time these condensed punches are vastly more powerful than what Netero is throwing. Not to mention the fact that Netero would have kept going if he had more stamina and endurance. As this only lasted 1 minute, the Deep Sea King would surely surpass that time, since we've never seen a monster get tired in One Punch Man before, alongside with his regen ability that would allow him to stay in the fight much longer until Meruem finally starts to feel considerable damage. But you would say that Meruem would build another strategy against the Deep Sea King, since he obviously holds better battle IQ. He would develop a plan to ensure his victory, alongside with his nin hacks like figuring out where his opponent is using in, or hiding his presence using Zetsu. That would surely turn the battle upside down. However, the problem with the Deep Sea King is that he was shown being capable of tanking hits and instantly regenerates. These types of hits are of a scale we've never seen before in Hunter x Hunter. Not to mention the fact that he would be fast enough to not get tagged in the first place. Hiding your presence by Zetsu doesn't mean you cannot be seen. The Deep Sea King has very sharp senses, and as I said before, with his speed he would be more than capable of evading Meruem's attacks. Now let's play the devil's advocate and say Meruem would win this. Ask yourself how. Has he ever shown raw strength attacks on par with the likes of Genos? As even that wasn't enough to kill the Deep Sea King due to his regen factor. Not to mention Puri Puri's punches that exceeds Hammerhead's strength that couldn't even hurt the Deep Sea King. The only factor that would maybe give him a chance is his durability, but this is stupidly surpassed by the Deep Sea King's level of regen. Now, based on all of this, we can safely assume that Meruem would be a demon level threat in the One Punch Man verse. But what about post-Rose Meruem? He obviously got a huge boost. However, the problem is we don't really know by how much. There's absolutely no way we can know how strong, fast, or durable he got, other than his destructive capacity attack that was strong enough to vaporize a large portion of a plateau, alongside with merging himself with 2 royal guards. This would surely increase his threat level, and I believe that this version of Meruem could be a high demon or at least maybe a low dragon, and has a great chance of defeating the Deep Sea King. This is purely speculation, and as I said, we don't really have a multiplier. However, based on him destroying that plateau with ease, alongside with his ridiculous amp and his full mastery of Nin, it's safe to assume he reached a certain level that would allow him to maybe defeat the Deep Sea King. There's absolutely no factual evidence to this, and despite the Deep Sea King having clear feats to quantify his power, I'd still be choosing Meruem. For those who says Meruem should be a god level threat since he is a threat to humanity, and suggesting he should be matched up with Boros or Garu, think of Awakened Cockroach in the Hunter x Hunter verse. That's all I'm gonna say. Alongside with Binolinov. For fuck's sake, how do you say this name? Alongside with, should I just say one of the troop members? Alongside with Binolinov, shit. Okay. Alongside with Binolinov. Shit. Such a fucking strong tongue twister. alongside with Benolinov special attack Jupiter that also moves at the speed of sound. Holy fuck, I said that. Right. Imagine Flashy Flash claiming he'd be faster than light and then using a car to move from a distance to another.